Good evening. This is Lucy Klein. I want to thank everyone and welcome you all to our board meeting for the Lower Merion School District on Monday, March 16th. I especially want to thank everyone for your patience as we do our first virtual board meeting. This particular evening we're doing on audio. In the future, should we happen to have more future meetings virtually, we may try to move towards Zoom or other video options. However, we did know that from everyone working from home today, Zoom was quite overloaded, and we felt that audio would be the most effective way to do this. I want to thank especially the Mr. Copeland and all of the administration and all of the teachers throughout the district who have been working really hard as we move to this new remote online new world for the next several weeks. So thank you very much to all of them. Our first sort of call to order or thing that we need to do is due to the state-mandated closure of district schools in Montgomery County, tonight's meeting is being audio streamed and live streamed. In order to comply with guidance from the governor regarding public meetings, the board suspends policy 006 to the extent that it limits the number of board members who can participate remotely in a regularly scheduled board meeting. This suspension will allow all members of the board to participate remotely in this meeting. Are there any questions about this?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
If I can ask when you do the motion, if you can say Deb Finger in
Yes.
motion. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry about that. Deb Finger motion.
May I ask you to ask the second?
Suba Robinson, second.
Thank you.
Should we do an individual roll call, or can I just say all in favor?
Yeah, that's fine. Just now you can go
roll call. A voice vote is fine.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, motion passes. So thank you for that, and I'm going to pass the meeting over to Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. Just wanted to give everybody an update on where we are in these unusual times. First and foremost, let me echo Mrs. Klein's support of the teachers, the staff, the administrators. This is clearly an unprecedented situation, and it has really been uplifting and touching to hear the number of people who have said, how can I help? What can I do? Where can I go? And how can I make it better? And that's really been a sign not only from the community itself, but the school community in particular. So I wish to share my appreciation for what we've experienced in terms of support. Let me just give you an update as to where we are. Clearly, Terry Quinlan, who is our supervisor for health services, is on a daily conversation with the Montgomery County Health Department. She keeps in contact with them. They let us know where they are. She's working on a joint letter that's going to come out with Student Services, with Kimberly Frazier, our Director of Student Services, to list and review the resources available to families during this time. It'll include how to stay in touch also with our school counselors and staff. So that's coming. In terms of electronic devices, digital devices, we recently sent out a school messenger asking people who might have difficult times either with digital devices or with internet. We've gotten some 200 students to say that they think that they'll have some difficulty. We're going to send those 200 calls to each of the school's guidance counselors and ask the guidance counselors to follow up. In some cases, folks were just concerned because there wasn't a device for everyone in the home where there were more than one student. We just want to make sure everybody realizes we're not going to be sending home requirements that are going to have kids on the devices 6 hours a day. So we think that we can work it out, but the guidance counselors are going to be following up with those folks who have called in about devices. We also want to let everybody know that for income-eligible folks, Comcast is waiving the $10 internet fee that they normally would charge. I believe that was sent out it has been sent out in an update, but it may take 3 to 4 days before that hookup can take place. So plans are being put into place regarding the distribution of the devices, including both shipping them or figuring out a way to get them to people. George Frazier, is working on that along with our operations department. Mr. Frazier let me know earlier in the day we had already 200 tickets, meaning folks who have concerns about the devices. So the help desk is ongoing, and we'll be working through that. Probably the biggest challenge we've got is putting together an instructional program remotely that wasn't designed to be entirely remotely. Our teachers have been working with digital devices for some time, but not quite in a complete replacement of our instructional program. The schools, you should know, have been holding virtual faculty meetings today. Principals have been working with teachers in the secondary schools and the departments in the elementary schools by grade levels, and we expect to be able to come out with, by Wednesday, work in an organized way for the district. Now, I know that teachers have been sending things home on their own for the last several days, and that's great. But what we want to do is, particularly for our kindergarten through 8th grade, we're looking for maintaining the skills that have been taught and putting in some enrichment programs for kids. And if the closeout of schools lasts much longer than 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to be having to figure out ways to make sure we can expand on that learning, because learning can't stop. The high schools, particularly where our students have been and our teachers have been more used to the one-to-one concept, after the first week or so, we're going to be slowly expanding in terms of the classes there and setting up schedules. But again, we don't believe that the impact will be such that the students will need their devices 5 or 6 hours a day. So you should look for those kinds of things in the upcoming days. And again, thanks to the administrators and staff for the hard work that they've been putting into getting that done. Special education, Mrs. Frazier is also going to be dealing with, following up with folks. We are not going to hold any IEP or GIEP meetings or 504 meetings for the 2-week time frame. And we'll be looking for guidance, and we'll be looking to see how we do that coming up in the future. Last but not least, food services. The plan is to roll out a lunch beginning tomorrow, tomorrow, the 17th. District buses will be utilized to transport food from Lower Merion High School and Harrington High School to Suburban Square parking lot. I was informed today that some people may refer to that as the Ruby lot, but it's the lot that borders Anderson Avenue and Montgomery Avenue near Suburban Square Mall. All families will be served at this time. This is the first attempt at doing this. We've got the cooperation of the folks at Suburban Square Mall, Lower Merion Police Department, and our own staff. There's information that went out earlier today. After tomorrow, the staff will hand out a lunch and a breakfast at the same time, and the hours will be from 11 to 1 p.m. That really is an update on where we are. And again, I thank everyone, including our parents and our community, for your understanding and for the spirit with which everybody's pulling together. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cope. Oh. This is Lucy. Thank you, Mr. Copeland, for that report. I'd like to hand the meeting over to Mr. Roos at this point.
Do you mean with respect to this point it's time for public comment?
I can take over from here if you'd like. I have received, at this point, 3 comments. This is Denise LaPera. I can start reading them now if you would like, and then by 8:15 is when it's closed. So should I go ahead and do that?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. First one is from Jeffrey Brody. And Mr. Brody writes, Dear Lower Merion School Board and Superintendent Copeland, first, thank you for your continued prompt communication with regards to the current public health crisis in our community. The reason for our public comment tonight is a follow-up from February when Amy Noor sent a community joint letter to the board, the letter is below, with regards to school start times. It was our plan to attend the March 16th board meeting to read the letter and turn in signatures. Out of respect to the over 710 signers and in light of the current events, we wanted to inform the school board and administration that we will be submitting the letter with the over 710 signatures at a later time to communitycomments@lmsb.org. Sincerely, Linda Mullins and Jeff Brody, Amy Noor, and Lisa Prosnitz. The letter is attached, but since it's a repeat, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and attach these community comments into the audience recognition action items only in the public section so that they can all be read after this as well. The next one comes in from Catherine Ramaswamy, and she's from Penn Valley, and it says, I will summarize a much longer document that is being sent through community comments. The American Association of Pediatrics 2014 policy statement recognizes the FLIP as a common solution for starting secondary schools later. Even acknowledging that elementary school will be forced to go to school early, they still conclude that school districts should start secondary schools later. Thus, early start times for elementary school students cannot be dangerous. By the way, the American Association of Pediatrics motto is dedicated to the health of all children. So how is that the administration has come up with an analysis that justifies a recommendation opposite to that of the AAP? The administration's approach to making and evaluating the proposal is fundamentally flawed. A risk analysis is used for activities that an organization must engage in. When there are 2 options, a new proposal and the status quo, you must do a cost-benefit analysis. A risk analysis not only favors the status quo, it requires the status quo. The district could resolve or at least mitigate most of the complaints from parents if it could propose a set of start times in which no school starts before 8 a.m. Since the beginning, however, the administration has claimed that a less controversial set of start times is impossible because of bus schedules. You need to provide greater oversight of this process of understanding possible bus routing options and weighing in on compromises. You are the only ones that have the authority to question the administration's estimates. My document provides a number of new facts about the district's estimates and about the MIT situation. In addition, the district's communications to the parents are one-sided. They do not communicate the risks of the status quo. This problem has existed since the first implementation study, and despite numerous complaints by sleep doctors and other concerned parents about the nature of these communications, the district has not changed its communication strategy. Your job is to make decisions that benefit the district as a whole. You have enough information to vote in favor of later start times now. Moving forward, you will need to play a greater role in the implementation. Please take the time to read the document I send later tonight. I am disturbed by the amount of misinformation at these meetings. I do my best to clarify a number of issues that have been misrepresented before you. And then the next one is from Indira, and I'm going to probably say her last name incorrectly, Jayanti. Dear board members and Mr. Copeland, in the face of the rapid spread of COVID-19 in our communities, overnight schools is closed. Just like that, with a brand new model for learning coming soon, untested. And to everyone's surprise, and no one's surprise, families are adjusting and proving they are strong, resilient, and devoted to their children. We are coming together as a community, connected with a shared goal of doing what is needed for our children. Not only do parents have to arrange the after-school care they feared, but full day care. It's not easy, but we are doing it. So it turns out our citizens are more resilient than even they realized. If we change start times, we will be fine. Let's not wait. Let's give adolescents the sleep they need. Thank you respectfully, Indira and her doctor. We're just going to call her Dr. Indira. And that's it. That's the end of them. And I will attach them tomorrow morning into the public section.
Thank you very much, Ms. LaPera. Next, we are moving into the remainder of our agenda, so I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Ruth.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. At this point, the board can proceed in order, under the circumstances, to proceed by what's known as the consent agenda. Basically, this would be a motion by one of the board members to approve the entire agenda, all the action items in the agenda in one vote. So that would be the motion to make.
Thank you. This is Lucy. Are there any questions on that before I put it forward for a vote? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second, this is Sean Mooring.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Oh, sorry. Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. So thank you very much. Now we will move on. I think that is
item 14.
Item 14.
You can move to item 14 now.
Okay. I think that we were not doing our committee reports. The audience recognition we've already done. So we'll move on to Sunshine Act.
Oh, okay. There were executive sessions. This is Ken again. There were executive sessions held on March 9th and March 16th regarding personnel, labor relations, and litigation matters.
Thank you, Mr. Roos. Item number 17, a list of the upcoming board meeting dates. I do want to share with everyone when the upcoming board meetings are. I do want to recognize, however, that given the current state of affairs and sort of unknown going forward, that we will keep everyone apprised on location and upcoming dates. But as of this moment, we have the April 13th Education Committee and Supplemental Regular Board Meeting. April 16th would be the regular business board meeting, and the following committee meetings, which are generally held in the boardroom, but unlikely to be in the near future, are the March 18th Communications meeting at 7 p.m. Actually, I misspeak on that one because I know that that has already been canceled. There is the March 25th Finance and Operations Budget Review meeting. March 31st is the Curriculum Committee meeting. April 3rd is the next Policy Committee meeting, and April 16th is the Facilities and Purchasing meeting. And that is it for our agenda today. Thank you all for your patience and understanding as we are doing our first online audio meeting. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.